This is the Defenders podcast on TV Podcast Industries, and we're talking about Marvel Zombies, the final episode, episode 4.
I can't help you. You're not saving us. You're killing us.
Kamala, if you stop me, all this is for nothing. Would you have your friends die for nothing?
No.
If you stop me, Kate and Riri
Stop it.
would have died for nothing.
Welcome back, fellow Defenders, to TV Podcast Industries. We are here with the final episode of Marvel Zombies, episode 4. I am one of your Gurg-Arg hosts, John.
I'm your other host, Derek, still, as you can probably hear, under fire from fireworks.
We love a good old firework on Halloween.
In fairness, it has been going since September, but
it's been going since August.
They must have had some massive excess of fireworks, even with them going every night.
And they're illegal here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Police station
well
just
done,
around the corner.
coppers.
Yeah, I think everybody's allowed to blow off a little bit of steam. As long as they don't blow off their own hands, it should be okay.
Oh, well, let's see what happens.
But yes, we're going to crack into our final episode of Marvel Zombies. We'd love if you subscribe to the podcast over on tvpodcastindustries.com. Loads of options there for you on any zombified or uninfected podcast catcher of your choice over on TV Podcast Industries. Lots of other podcasts there for you to check out as well. You can also email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com if you have any thoughts about the series as well.
Excellent stuff. But let us crack on with our spoiler-filled discussion. Derek, who gave us what, where, when, and how?
Well, the teleplay, of course, for the series has been written by Zeb Wells, and the story for the series written by Zeb Wells and Bryan Andrews, just like this episode. And
Excellent
the episode
stuff.
directed, once again, as has been the case for all episodes, by Bryan Andrews. John, why don't you tell us what they gave us with your synopsis for the finale of Marvel Zombies?
Sure. Episode 4, A Bloody End.
Mm-hmm.
The Nova Corps shoots down the Asgardian ship, but the group is rescued by the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj, who reveal that Bruce Banner willingly absorbed the Infinity Stone's energy after their destruction and has transformed into Infinity Hulk to prevent it from destroying Earth. But having amassed enough zombies to defeat Hulk, Wanda arrives to take the stone's energy for herself. Hulk fights off the zombies, zombie Abomination, the giant-sized zombies, the Pym zombies, and the Asgardian zombies before the group arrives to defend him, but they are soon overpowered. With the arrival of a zombified Thor, he soon kills Blade, Sarah, and the London Master, as the overwhelming hordes also kill Shang-Chi, Katie, Valkyrie, Rintra, Parker, and Lang. Hulk unleashes a powerful blast to kill Thor, but it leaves him vulnerable and allows Wanda to take the stone's energy. Despite her initial refusal, Kamala is persuaded by Wanda to help her remake the world. After a blinding explosion, Kamala wakes up and reunites with Riri and Kate, with everything seeming to have gone back to normal. However, reality flickers and Kamala sees the real Riri fighting zombies, who tells Kamala that she has hacked the system, and that what she is seeing is not real, leaving Kamala shocked and confused.
She's not the only one.
I know.
Yeah. Cut to credits, no post-credit scene.
I know.
No guarantee of a second season.
I know.
Although everybody involved in the show has been saying that they have loads of ideas if they do get commissioned for a second season of Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, like
just
getting
go watch
them
it.
out
Just go
of-
watch it. That's what they keep saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like getting them out of the hellhole that old Wanda's put them in.
Yeah. Or is
Maybe
it a
that's
hell?
an idea. Yeah, very, very kind of depressing, like fatalistic type ending
Love it.
there,
Yep.
which was great. Yeah, I don't personally have any problems with that, but I was like, oh, okay. Although I did like the fact that Riri,
Might
survived.
be alive, yes.
Yeah, might have survived the
Yes.
Valley of the Gods.
Absolutely.
But I think onto our top 3 from this episode.
Yeah.
First off, Infinity Hulk.
Oh yes, how cool was
Very
this?
cool.
Yeah.
I almost had Destiny vibes actually.
Yeah.
Which was it was just very, very cool. Really, I just really, really liked it. And I'm glad it kind of explained how all that energy, because in the last episode, it's kind of left where it's ripping through the world. And so, Scott Lang, Peter Parker gets saved, by the sorcerers. So, I thought this was quite nice that they had, managed to sort of contain all that energy, through the sacrifice of Banner. I think the other thing we should mention in this point with finding this out, we find it out because, the Asgardian ship is chased and shot down by Nova Corps. I do like the fact that it's kind of given the very bureaucratic, name of the disinfection protocol. But literally they are disinfected, and as they fall, back down to Earth, they again are saved by the, sling ring portals.
Yes.
Which is a nice little,
It's very cool.
animation that you see. I do like the fact that Blade just falls down straight up as well.
It's like, what the hell? Shang-Chi just staring over. What the hell is he doing? It's really good.
But yeah, it was really good.
And also that they just leave Kamala to the last and then eventually catch her just before she hits the water, which would have instantly killed her.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But yeah, I like that then, you have here Bruce Banner, they call, is now a cipher, where he's protecting the energies that can make or break this world.
yes, and I thought it was really interesting that they talk about it with the team at Kamar-Taj, and they're saying there is no longer a Bruce Banner at all. The person that now exists is Infinity Hulk. Bruce Banner has been sacrificed. He's turned into the Hulk permanently, so he can absorb the energy, and he will stay like that unless interrupted, I guess, because that's the whole arc of the episode here. And gotta call it out. That is what happens in Endgame as well. Hulk is the one that picks up the Infinity Gauntlet. Hulk is the one that snaps everything back into existence. So he is the only one of the team that's powerful enough to be able to hold the power of the Infinity Stones. So, so that's why they choose him here to be in Wakanda.
Yeah, absolutely. And despite all this all this absorbed power, the Wanda, the Queen of the Dead, has her army assembled now, has the numbers to take this power for herself. And I do like, there is the ultimatum made by the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj that, it is now time to stand with us against the coming battle against this Queen of the Dead. And I think, is it Kamala that says it's a fight worth fighting? I think it's Kamala. But yes, so this ultimately then brings us to our point number 2, which is the fight for Infinity Banner, or Infinity Hulk here, really.
Yeah.
That power that can either destroy or create the worlds.
And this is absolutely massive. This is Wanda, the Queen of the Dead, with every single representative of every society on Earth, the zombies coming down. We have the Asgardian zombies. We have the zombie Tolokans coming back. We have obviously zombie humans. We have the giant zombies from
the Pym
San
zombies,
Francisco.
the Asgardian zombies in their flying longboats. You have you have Abomination again.
All the Scions,
and all the Scions. This for some reason, I really got vibes of the Witch King of Angmar sort of send forth legions, because it was just like, that wave after wave of zombies, breaking on the rock that is Infinity Hulk. And I just kind of really enjoyed it. You have this back and forth between, Wanda Maximoff looking on, zombie Wanda Maximoff looking on. She goes, "I've come to ease your pain." This soothing, sort of disarming Queen of the Dead. But I do like the way that then you have Bruce Banner just taking out. Abomination is taken out really easily by him. He takes the Pym zombies quite nicely. Wanda is actually knocked away by the 10 rings as she moves towards him, because he does, like, just sheer numbers of zombie hordes that Bruce Banner can only do so much and starts to get overwhelmed. But you have then the group from Kamar-Taj arriving to protect Bruce Banner. And effectively it is, we cannot allow the Queen to touch Bruce Banner. Exactly. And again, I kind of mentioned it back in episode 3 that a couple of members of the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj that were in Multiverse of Madness and weren't used to full effect are used to full effect here. We have Sarah, who I think was the love interest of Wong back in Multiverse of Madness, but she wasn't really front and center. We have her up against the Asgardians, turning their own weapons on themselves, turning their weapons on their ships, using her magic. I thought that was really cool. We of course have Rintra, the Minotaur, using his horns to spear zombies as he runs through them. I know he can do lots more than that. I know he's also a sorcerer, but why not do it if you have a Minotaur? It was really good.
You gotta do it, yeah.
I think for me, there's two. I thought Blade Knight slicing through a very small Hank Pym, where it's just literally lengthways. So just slicing him in half in slow-mo, really good. I did actually really like that sequence of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne going big, small, and how they deal with that. We saw Blade Knight deal with Ghost before, and I kind of liked that his sword just slices Hank Pym in half.
Absolutely.
That was really good. And also then I think the London Master, I must say, I was like, oh, I like this magic. Really, really good. He had a couple of good ones that he did here. Absolutely. And my ear was caught by the language he's speaking. He's obviously Celtic related. He's got a kilt, hasn't he? Yep. So I had to check it out because I recognised some of the words that he was saying. He was actually speaking in Gaelic or Scottish Gaelic, and he's saying the phrase when he's standing in front of all the zombies and he puts the kind of explosions right in front of them. What he's saying is "Sud the Ceann Aspradag," which translates as "that's your head exploding." That's the spell he uses, and literally all their heads explode at the same time. It was very, what a cool way of using and then he does a big sort of like St. Patrick's cross of magic that then races across the battlefield as well. So there's a really good just kills here going on, I thought. Really nicely done. As I say, even like Rintra using his head, like the way he does, it's just captured really well in the animation. Absolutely. So yeah, this fight was epic. It was awesome. But ultimately, Wanda does get to Bruce because of the intervention of Zombie Thor. So he does lose to Wanda Maximoff here. He loses to Wanda Maximoff, but importantly, because it's been a question since the first ever Avengers, Hulk versus Thor, who wins? Hulk wins this time. Yeah, Hulk absolutely wins. But yeah, I mean, Thor takes out a lot of people here. He certainly does. He takes out Blade Knight, the Minotaur, the sorcerers primarily. This doesn't go well as soon as he's on the field of battle, except for when he comes face to face with Infinity Hulk. But all that use of energy and power just makes him vulnerable for that second. And I love how you just kind of see Wanda Maximoff just zipping in front of him. Yeah. And effectively then having this conversation with Kamala. Yeah. Is really the only person left standing. And then, the fact that she starts to raise all of Kamala's friends as zombies is phenomenal. I was wondering for a moment, is this another magic manipulation from Wanda, or has everybody that's died so far turned into zombies and joined Wanda's army? I don't know which is worse. I really have no idea which is worse. Is it worse that all of your friends die, or is it worse that
as your friends die, they join the army against you. You know,
Oh, I think that's pretty bad, to be honest.
Doesn't it feel just so hopeless that
absolutely.
You're trying to save the world and everybody falls behind you? They join the opposite side.
Like, if they were conscious, it's almost like a betrayal, but they're not, of course. But it's just hopelessness. And I think that's the interesting thing, is that that's hugely hopeless.
Yeah.
You know, for Kamala, and yet everything that Wanda is saying to it is that, her persuasion is for Kamala to link up with her is so that the world can be healed and can begin again. And, it's a very hopeful message, yet she's just showed a hopeless message by getting all her dead friends and fighting companions back up on their feet as zombies. So, you're there kind of shouting at the screen, like, Kamala, no.
Don't do it, Kamala.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of leads us to our final point, which is the convergence of the two powers. Kamala says, I guess if it is saving the world, I will join up with Wanda. I don't know. Everybody's gone, and Kamala can't possibly take on Wanda Maximoff. Wanda Maximoff is way too powerful for just Kamala on her own.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Everything seemingly is back to normal and healed, to Wanda Maximoff's promise to Kamala. And you have Kamala going to meet Riri, Kate Bishop, at her own front door.
Yeah, and you also have Maniba making her special guest appearance. The voice of her mom, calling her to get up.
Everything is seemingly great, but it's kind of like painting over mold. It comes back through, and so it's an illusion, and you have the mold of the zombies coming back through this illusion that has been created. And seemingly, this red magic has been hacked by Riri, who is alive and has survived the Valley of the Gods. So that was pretty cool. But ultimately, it is left with Kamala having got that sense of this deception of the illusion and being back in the illusion. So it'd be interesting, and it ends with just like the flash up of Wanda and her zombie face. So I really do hope they kind of do a season 2.
I do, but I also like the horror ending that they have here, that you think the villain is beaten because the good guy has done the thing at the end. It's like the end of Nightmare on Elm Street, which notoriously ends with, for absolutely no reason, Freddy comes back, and then you have 7 other movies afterwards dealing with Freddy over and over again. He could never be killed. That's the Nightmare on Elm Street thing. It's a real horror trope to have a moment at the end that makes you question whether everything's gone too good or not.
Agreed.
Love that idea. Here, to me, it does seem pretty definitive that Wanda Maximoff is still a zombie and has just taken the power and taken Kamala's power and has given Kamala what she wants to see in her mind, and that's it. But will she be able to get out of it? Will we get a future story for these characters? I'd love to see it.
I guess in the multiverse of Marvel now, you could just have a different Marvel Zombies tale.
Potentially, yeah.
Which I think would equally be good, because I think you're right. I mean, even though, yes, I'd love to see Wanda kind of get beaten. I think you're right. It's a great horror movie.
Yeah.
And rather than just running the next 8 seasons with Wanda as the bad guy, just do a new one.
You could do that. Yep, you could do that. What I always love about the way the Marvel Zombies stories work is that they have shown you everybody on screen. They've shown you loads of characters dying, but we know there's hundreds more characters out there that we haven't seen, and we may not have seen on screen. There's loads more in the Marvel universe that we haven't seen yet. So entirely possible that they would just be able to bring a group of them together as the next wave of people up against Wanda and maybe beat her next season. So there is options, and it's great to see Riri alive. We actually mentioned in the first episode that when she got attacked, she did inject herself So she maybe did find a way to slow the zombie virus or stop the zombie virus. So she may have a cure for the zombie virus, and that's why she's able to be alive here at the end. There's some hope that might be what happened. Yeah,
excellent stuff.
Speaking of hopeful notes, any notes from you, John, about the episode that we haven't discussed?
No, not really. I think just one other final sort of kill sequence where you have Scott Lang using the glass dome over his head as almost a car windshield, swatting zombie insects, splatting them on the front of them.
I genuinely was going, that's glass, mate. You probably should be standing.
I know,
at the
I
back.
do. Yeah, but it's toughened glass.
Stay back in Kamar-Taj.
Toughened glass.
I hope so.
Just for heads.
Yeah, I hope so, because he's cracking skulls with it, and you don't want it to smash, and then he's dead.
Yeah, so I did like that. Yeah.
I just have one, just because I love the touch, and again, they've done lots of little great moments of connecting him with stories of other shows and other movies that we've seen. That last moment when we have Kamala sitting at the table with her friends, with Riri and with Kate, in the vision that she's in, she sees the cute boy across the road. That cute boy across the road is Cameron, who is a very central character in the first season of Miss Marvel. So I love that she's looking across the road and going, "Ooh, who's the cute boy over there?" And it turns out to be someone quite important to her regular story in the MCU.
Excellent.
Yeah. That was cool.
Perfect stuff.
So overall, John, do you defend Marvel Zombies?
I do. I give this episode 4.5 ciphers out of 5. I just thought the battle sequence was great. It was superb.
Hard to do when you've done a big battle sequence in every episode, but this really,
exactly.
This really was throw everything in.
Yeah, and it paid off, to be honest. I mean, as I say, you could argue it's quite repetitive, the structure of these 4 shows, and in a sense, it ends on a downbeat note, possibly hopeful. Who knows? I hope they close it with this sort of ambiguity, really, here.
Interesting.
But I want to come back to the world of Marvel Zombies for absolute sure. And I think, it's the battle. It is everyone dies. Everyone is consumed by Wanda's ego. As is always the case. Infinity Hulk is really very, very cool. I love how that sort of ties a nice bow with the What If series and with what happened there in Wakanda and with Thanos. So for me, this really was a lot about the fight. I mean, in some ways, actually, the persuasion of Wanda to Kamala, there wasn't... I think it was almost like the hopelessness had infected Kamala. She didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Everyone around her had fallen, effectively. And it was almost like just going with the flow of, the water running downstream in the river, I think. Yeah. Now, that might be a bit unfair on Kamala. And maybe Riri's sort of hacking of the red magic of this illusion will give her hope, because she is seemingly the only one that sees it.
Exactly. Yep.
But I absolutely really enjoyed this episode. So for me, it'll be 4.5 ciphers out of 5.
Excellent. And it was only when you were talking there that I just realised that the final moment when Wanda's trying to convince Kamala to go on her side is actually like Agatha Hart is trying to convince Wanda to go on her side at the end of WandaVision. So it might be a little nod to that as well. So, for me, definitely defend this series. Really enjoyed it. I think I've watched it through about 4 or 5 times now, because we've had so long since we had the original episodes available to the point that we're recording now. And I've loved it each time. I think it holds together so well. Love the characters. Huge respect to Zeb Wells for his writing and to Bryan Andrews for his job running the show as well. But Iman Vellani as the central character throughout the season has been fantastic. Yeah. I don't know why people don't want to pin all of the MCU on her. Marvel seems to want to. I absolutely want to. I think she's cast so well in this central role, and she has such great interactions with other characters. Her storyline's great. She's got great powers. She can't be the only one. There's loads of other characters in there to focus on. But I do love her at the center of a story. I think she's great as our central character for the story. So I'm so glad it centered around Kamala. There were so many other options. especially when it started out when we thought it was going to be this road trip with her, Kate and Riri, and then suddenly it turns out to be it's just Kamala. She's the only one that survives all the way through to the end, you know. So great seeing so many other characters in there, and really exciting story. It felt like Avengers level in animation, so I'm really hoping we get more of Marvel Zombies in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. Let us get on to our feedback section. We have an email in from Coffee and Vodka who says, "Greetings, fellow befuddled defenders. I'll be hunting down an ending explained on YouTube for this one. It looks like the good guys lost and the world's gone almost entirely to the dead, but could use a bit of confirmation. Up to the final battle royale, a few moments of hopelessness with our point of view nightlight Kamala brightening the way. Being otherwise 99% running and fighting, there's not much else to say other than it was fun to see the Hulk smush zombie Thor. As shiny as this is, I'm not getting in line to demand a follow-up season unless it's nice and unambiguous. 4.5 USDA Sorcerer Supremes, pasted puny gods, and forever frenemies out of 5. Peace and take care, Coffee and Vodka." Great stuff. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka. Yeah, interesting. There have been so many series of Marvel Zombies in the comic books. I think there's been 7 different series that they all end with zombies are still going. There's none that I can remember that there is no longer zombieism in the world, as far as I can remember. Maybe the most recent one, Urban Decay, I think, where I think Groot is the cure at the beginning of that. Not in this universe of the animated version of Marvel Zombies, but yeah, I kind of love this ambiguous ending for this because it feels like a horror movie rather than an animated cartoon show with a big happy ending. So I think that's an unusual choice for them to make. So I'm very happy with it, but I would love to see more of the show. Whether they have an unambiguous ending or an ambiguous ending at the end, I just want to see more of Marvel Zombies. Hey, we haven't had Nick Fury as a zombie yet. Where's he gone? He was probably eaten on day one, unfortunately.
Tasty.
Excellent stuff. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Yeah, thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Over on Facebook, Heather Wallace says, "The zombie episode of What If was one of my favourites, but now I can't rewatch it because this is how it ends. The world isn't saved and everyone dies. Seeing everyone being torn apart was awful. And I have questions. Bruce was last seen alive in this universe, taking on Wanda's zombies so Peter, T'Challa and Scott could get away. How did he get to Wakanda to absorb the Infinity energy? And Wanda and her horde got zapped into the Infinity Ultron battle on an unpopulated planet. So how is she here 5 years later? Now I'm sad and confused. My final thoughts on the series are the voice cast was amazing and I love the unexpected team-ups, but I found it so bleak, and that's not what I come to Marvel stories for. It could be compared to the ending of Infinity War, but with no confirmation of a sequel." And Heather returned afterwards and said, "Oh, I just thought of the answer for how did Hulk get to Wakanda. The sorcerers must have opened up a sling ring portal, and apparently zombie Wanda was locked up by evil Doctor Strange, released by Captain Carter and Kahori, and then they would have been able to return to the world the others had set them free." I kind of forgot about that episode. Excellent, Heather. I'm so glad you answered those questions because I would have had to be searching through What If the answers. There was 2 more seasons after that first episode. So delighted that you're able to find the answers for that. You're probably right. Yeah, I think they say that they needed to get the Hulk. So they're the ones that took him out. It was Rintra that was telling that story of how they got Bruce Banner back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you do hear that great line of, one thing I've learned when you're in Kamar-Taj is if a Minotaur speaks, you listen, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, it must have been them that saved Bruce Banner to bring him back. So at least the questions are solved. And I think you're right. In general, with the Marvel Universe, I don't go to it for dystopian futures. There's loads of those out there and in all the other stuff that we cover. But I do like it on occasion. So going to Marvel Zombies for a little bit of dystopia when there's lots of other stuff out there as well. So lots of heroics out there in the other movies. You know, we have Fantastic Four coming out on Disney Plus next week. If you haven't seen it, watch that. That'll cheer you back up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're right. It is very sort of, even just the end with the snarling Red Queen, the zombified Red Queen. I guess the only bit of hope there that we can latch onto is Riri. But I do think they'll probably, end it there. But But who knows? Yeah, literally, who knows?
Yeah.
But I hope they end it there and then move on to a more sort of maybe a musical Marvel Zombies.
I knew you were going to say a musical Marvel Zombies for some reason. I thought you know, a
It's the
moment.
only way to keep it light for zombies.
For a
I'd
moment,
say.
I thought you were just going to say a musical Marvel animated show, but no, a musical Marvel Zombies makes it much more fun.
It could be interesting, Heather. Let's push for it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Heather, for your thoughts.
Absolutely. Thanks, Heather, and thanks for answering those questions because, it's good to have, you forget how intertwined sometimes the MCU can get, and certainly when they start bringing it over into animation.
Absolutely.
That's why I kind of think leave this where it is and then have another standalone one.
Look, that's your opinion, I guess.
Girl.
Yeah. When she gets introduced, she can be in Marvel Zombies as well.
Yeah.
Throwing her zombie squirrels around.
Brains from Squirrel Girl.
Maybe.
Excellent stuff. Also on Facebook, Harvey Locus says, this ended up being way better than I expected. I think it would be great if in Vision Quest, Vision tries to bring Wanda back and gets this Wanda into Secret Wars.
Oh, wow.
This would be awesome. Yeah. I do like that your shorthand for Vision is Viz Harvey. Because then we could call him Hi Viz.
Hi Viz. Yeah,
Hi Viz.
That's what Wanda says when she's with him. She always called him Viz. So Hi Viz.
Hi Viz.
Yeah. What a cool idea, especially because we're going to have crossing over of characters from different universes, like the Fantastic Four, who we're going to get in Doomsday in the next couple of years. Next year, I think it is. So if next year we have a moment where Vision tries to find his Wanda and ends up bringing in Zombie Wanda, which brings her in time for Secret Wars. Yeah. What a cool idea!
Absolutely.
Zombie Wanda in live action.
That would make me really invest into Vision Quest.
There you go. There you go.
Because at the moment, I just think it's going to be a bunch of robots.
Well, I guarantee that Elizabeth Olsen will remember the day that she put on the zombie makeup for Vision Quest, so she will absolutely remember her participation in that.
Yes, definitely. Thanks, Harvey.
Absolutely. Thanks, Harvey. Paul Tenchi Lee sends in his thoughts. Firstly, he says, oof. Secondly, he says, read my comment from episode 3. If Wanda kept all her powers, why hasn't she just healed herself, removed the virus from her system? It's like the virus activated the part of her that drew her to the Darkhold in other realities, and so she's just doing a version of the House of M. Still haven't read those comics, so people with more knowledge than that can compare and contrast. Next, I don't understand how Infinity Hulk / Cypher works. Doesn't having all the stones together give him the equivalent of a fully operational Infinity Gauntlet? Again, if there's comics lore in this, I would love to hear about it. Next, the entire series is about unexpected team-ups, which is a nice callback to its origins in What If. Per my thoughts from episode 1, how many of these are trial balloons for future shows / movies? And finally, the less grim version of a season 2 would have Riri plus Friday busting Kamala out of her illusion and maybe connect up with Spidey and Ant-Man. Not sure how they'd win, but if they could get through to Icarus, maybe there's a hope.
Maybe there's some hope. Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Paul, for the thoughts. I'm guessing Infinity Hulk Cypher just works like a bottle. He's captured it all, but his toughened skin, all that is the only thing that can contain it. I mean, you do see it kind of getting ripped and it's starting to burst out, but ultimately it's just a container really for this energy.
So he is the Infinity Gauntlet, basically. Yeah. But I wonder if it's that the powers have been kind of messed because of going into the core of Wakanda. Yeah. He's not actually holding the stones, he's just trapping the energy from them.
I think that's it. I think T'Challa was destroying the stones, but in doing so, and certainly maybe with it being done through vibranium, it was a huge energy release, and that's what's being contained.
Yeah, and it is, it's Wanda that's trying to get the energy, and she can channel it because of her powers, whereas Hulk doesn't have powers to channel.
I do like the fact that your turn of phrase is the equivalent of a fully operational Infinity Gauntlet. It feels like you've just wheeled around in the Death Star here. But I think for sure, I'm not entirely clear as to whether there's any law on this. I think on House of M, I think you're right. Again, that's part of her powers is to create these illusions, other realities, so that's what she's doing here.
It's absolutely that, yeah.
But it's not her being cured, I guess, or healed.
Well, exactly. The story of House of M is that she's lost her mind and her powers recreate reality. Even she doesn't know that she's done it for a while. That's the whole thing, is that the entire universe is now the Maximoff house, basically. So yeah, it's an excellent story. Go read it if you haven't had a chance. I'm not able to go point by point through what the connection is, but
since I read it, actually.
But it is one of those stories that it deserves its reputation as a great Marvel story. So yeah, I'd highly recommend going and reading it. But the point of it is, yes, it is drawing from that concept. She is able to recreate realities. The idea that Kamala could possibly be in a world that looks like the old world and everything has been restored. That's what House of M feels like to everybody that's in it.
Yes.
They think it is the world that has been created around them. They remember their past as if they've always lived in this world and have and continue their lives whatever way she sets out, because she's so powerful. So it's very cool.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Paul, and thanks everyone for your feedback. Really great to get your thoughts in on Marvel Zombies.
Absolutely, and thanks so much for joining us for Marvel Zombies on TV Podcast Industries. We've been really enjoying chatting Marvel again. It's going to be a while before we get to talk about Marvel again, because they've just moved out Wonderman. It's moved into January 2026, or at the end of January, initially slated for Christmas time this year, but now coming out, I think, 26th January for the first episode.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, but hopefully a weekly series, finally, for Marvel. It's been ages since we got a weekly series.
Yeah.
I hope, given how short their runs are and how big the gaps are getting between these shows and movies, I hope they do 8 episodes over 8 weeks. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it almost seems a bit like just throwing stuff out and that's it. It's almost like canning it, in a sense, rather than enjoying it across many weeks.
Yeah, and I just hate that model. Netflix have been doing that since they started, and even they decided that's the wrong model for them. And every big show they have now releases 3 episodes and then goes on a break for months, and then 3 episodes and then goes on a break for months. so they're all doing different versions of the right way to release it weekly, so we can all chat about it.
Exactly.
But with that said, thank you so much for joining us. We know we were a bit late coming on for Marvel Zombies, about a month, but at least we got it in around Halloween time.
Yes,
so
it makes sense for it to be Halloween.
Exactly.
For sure. Thank you so much, fellow Defenders, for joining us for our Marvel Zombies podcast. Until we meet again, keep watching, keep listening, and of course, keep defending.
Bye.
Bye.
Brains.
And gain your knowledge. Bye.
Bye. These post-credits are usually just outtakes from the podcast, but, well, John said we'd be back talking about Marvel Zombies when hell froze over or they did a Marvel Zombies musical. Guess which one happened over the weekend? Yeah, the official Marvel account did their... Is that the production where they use the action figures to do a kind of a comedy skit? Well, their comedy skit for Halloween was Marvel Zombies the Musical, based on Rogers the Musical.
I could eat this all day.
Honestly, it's quite funny, isn't it?
It was excellent. Yeah. I must be clairvoyant. And that might be because I eat brains.
Some quite
really
insane,
good funny bits.
Absolutely.
In the little 3-minute musical adventure into the world of Marvel Zombies. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. It was a nice little drop, actually, in Halloween. Funny and kind of nicely done.
Yeah, love the little idea of having the portals delivering new food to the zombies on stage.
Yeah, and also on the left.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was like, okay, very good.
Absolutely. So,
Poor Falcon.
yes, of course. So there you go. We're back. We've talked about Marvel Zombies, the musical. Is there any other predictions, John? Whether the spin-offs do you think will come? Oh, we've also had Marvel Zombies, the video game as well, basically.
That is true
we've been
as
playing
well,
for a
yeah.
while. The Marvel Rivals on pretty much all platforms, the free game, had a Marvel Zombies update where you could fight against Zombie Namor and loads and loads of other zombies, plus obviously the final battle is against the Queen of the Dead herself, Scarlet Witch.
Absolutely.
Zombie Scarlet Witch at the
So
end.
all good, all very zombie concentrated
Absolutely.
at the minute around Halloween.
It just feels like that's the biggest tie-ins we've had for any of the shows or
big
movies
time.
that we've had out in ages.
Yeah.
Like, that's mad. Anyway,
I think
why
they've
not?
just been building up to it after Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe
You know?
that's it.
So yeah, really good, and yeah, it's worth a check on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good little riff on Rogers the Musical for sure.
Absolutely. That's it. We're done with Marvel Zombies for this season.
Gag,
Bye.
brains. Derek, shall we crack on to our spoiler-filled discussion of episode 4 of Marvel Zombies?
Absolutely.
You give us what, where, when, and how, and is it Zeb Wells and Bryan Adams?
Nope, not Zeb Wells and Bryan Adams. It is Bryan Andrews and Zeb Wells, because Bryan Adams is still stuck in the summer of '69.
I think it would be great if in a Vision Quest, Viz tries to bring Wanda back.
Sorry, just Vision Quest is the TV show with Vision at the centre of it. So just so you're
Hi, Viz.